Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I wanted to make more of a reaction style video to something Alex Hormozi was going over. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think it applies to business in a huge way and just to life in general. Um, Obviously, disclaimer, Alex has had extremely massive success compared to me in terms of financially achieving some of the goals that he has had. I'm just cherry picking this one topic that he's talking about because um, I think it's super important for people starting out, and for my particular audience, this is something I really wanted to touch on with you guys. And I don't look down on Alex in any way. He's extremely helpful. He's had amazing content that's really helped me grow and learn and challenge myself. So this is in no way like poo-pooing him. It's just I'm taking something that he spun on, and I want to go deeper with you guys. So without further delay, I'm going to play this video of his.
That's the thing that to me was so telling on this was so heroin addiction, super addicting. I'll put it that way. And when a bunch of soldiers came back from Vietnam, they had been addicted. I don't know if you've heard of this, right? 25% of soldiers who went to Vietnam tried heroin. It was like an insane statistic. And in the US, 90% of heroin addicts who go to clinics relapse. So they have a 10% long-term success rate. Tough. The stats are completely reversed from people who got addicted or did heroin in Vietnam and then came back to the US, which then you could draw the line, which is it's better to change your environment than to even do anything else, because what happens is you eliminate all the triggers and cues that are associated with the habit that you're trying to destroy.
So, what I wanted to break down with this is Alex is talking about how changing your environment, in this case with you have these heroin addicted soldiers they're in Vietnam, right? And so they try doing heroin there and they're like addicted to it. And he's comparing them coming home to people in the United States now that relapse, right? The relapse rate for heroin's like super low. And why am I talking about drugs in business? It's actually really simple. There's like, if you look at the core of a person, right? We all have these motivating factors. There are all things that we want in our life. There are goals that we have. We're uniquely programmed to have them. And so what I wanted to break down with you is what Alex is talking about. And in his example, he's asserting that the environment is what precipitated change. If you change your environment, then in the situation with the soldiers, when they changed their environment from Vietnam to coming home, they were, almost all of them were able to like go back and move back into a useful life where they weren't addicted to heroin, unlike clinics today that are trying to help people rebound from it and have a huge relapse rate. And I don't think it's environment. In fact, I'm very confident that environment's not the factor that can make or break people. And so I have good news for you guys, and I have good news. The good news is you have more in your control, because environment's hard. It's not everybody, if you're living in the woods or you're in the middle of nowhere, it's hard for you to change your environment. It could be costly. It could be cost prohibitive. It could be, you just might not have the time to do, like you might not be able to do it for 6 months or till 12 months when your lease is up or whatever, right? Like there's all these factors. And so I'm asserting that it's not environment at all. It's actually purpose. And I can kind of prove that by saying we've certainly known people that have stayed in their environment and have gotten themselves out of a situation, not just drugs, but they've started a business and maybe they lived in the hood, or they got, they found something that pulled them out of the situation that they were in, even though their environment didn't change. Like that is certainly a fact. There are plenty of people that have done that. I'm not saying environment's a bad variable to change. I'm just saying the point of this whole video is like your purpose is so critical to everything you're doing. We talk a lot about burnout. You see all this data on burnout, Gartner data that like 70% of people are disengaged at work. Why is that? I think most people, this is an oversimplification, but most people, you're a hammer. Like you were built to be a hammer, but you're going to work every day to be a screwdriver. And there's a lot of people doing things that aren't fulfilling to them because they're in the wrong places at the wrong times doing the wrong things. And so I don't believe in burnout. I don't subscribe to burnout. We all need breaks. Like, listen, like if you read the Bible, right, and this guy God creates the earth and all this stuff, and even if dude upstairs needs to take a day off in a 7-day week, I think maybe we should probably take a day off. Like I'm not saying, don't take breaks, but I am saying if you're doing something you love, you're not going to experience burnout to the same degree that our society is. Like, it's that simple. And so I think it takes a lot of time to slow down. And like, for me, this is firsthand nature. I think a lot about my thoughts, metacognition. I think a lot about my thinking. I think a lot about why I do things, why I want things. Why do people hustle for things? Like, there's a lot of people that say, oh, money's not that important to me. Well, if money's not that important to you, why do you work 50, 60, 70 hours a week for it? Like, what is it that you're actually after? And I think when you can be honest with that, you can break any habit. So, this example is talking about drugs, right? It might seem irrelevant for business, but whether it's weight loss, whether it's starting a business, all of those things require an insane amount of effort and consistency and showing up and just doing the work, right? And so my point in making this is you don't have to change where you are. You don't have to wait on when your lease is up or do whatever. You have to figure out what makes you tick. We all have a unique set of gifts and things that make us unique. And so instead of fighting those, go into a W-2 job that you don't like, or maybe instead of fighting those, trying to be an entrepreneur, because that's like really hot right now, and Gary Vee and Alex Hormozi are like shoving that down your throat, and so am I. Maybe it means you're an entrepreneur and you want to go and work for somebody else. Like, just reflect on what it is that makes you tick, and you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything other than think about what your true purpose is. Once you have that locked in, by journaling, by meditating, by reading scripture, it will help you become more familiar with yourself. You'll be able to understand who you truly are in a better way. And that will hopefully help you live a more fulfilling life without having to uproot and change everything and do some crazy routine. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys. Have a great week.